Is there anything in particular you would like to hear?
I want to hear Turn On This Summer.
Yes! It's
Fuck you, birthday boy.
Come on.
Alright, let's do it. This is our last one.
What's getting Bismarcked?
Oh, it's part for the course for you guys. It means when you have things planned out, and then in the course of that day unfolding, some lightning bolt of circumstance smashes into the plans that are going forward and disrupts the entire day. Sometimes to the point where you don't get to play a show.
How'd the day start off?
Well, really well. It was going great. For the first hour and 15 minutes, it was a perfect tour. Just one small problem. One little thing. We forgot one thing. We forgot only one thing. Out of all the things we brought, dozens and dozens of things, one thing didn't get brought. And then we left one other thing back, which was Chris.
Well, I sort of made the first show. Forgot my wallet.
Chris missed his fucking flight. Missed his flight.
Of all the times for Nate not to be in the band and just finally be like, I've been waiting like 20 years for Chris to do the script so spectacularly that we will reference it for the rest of our lives, and he wasn't here for it.
As someone who's normally the type A organizer of everything, it felt like it was the biggest it felt like it was a moral failure on my part.
I think then we were sort of like, well, you may be dead, but we have a chance to live. We'll see you in Chicago. So we played a sort of two-piece set, well rehearsed, I thought, for the most part.
First we had to pick a song that Dan sang, and then we had to pick...
Ratline.
Except for Ratline. And we figured we have 50% of lyrics anyway. And then it was so something that Dan sings, and then also like, you know, something we could possibly do, just the two of us.
I wouldn't say we were killing it. We were probably pushing it down a flight of stairs, and it might have died.
I got a very good compliment from Mr. Tim Midget that night.
It's like, your posture is excellent.
He was like, yeah, no, it was good. It was something else. It was way better than, I think he wanted to say, that went way better than I thought it was going to, and you guys thought it was going to. I thought we were literally just going to look at each other and just go like, hey,
oh my God, what are we going to do?
What are we going to do?
Eric and Dan played as a two-piece, and then right at the end of the show, he showed up and you guys got to play 3 songs.
I had to take a later flight. I got into Chicago at 11:20 and was on stage by 11:50.
I like that Chris was like, let's play Where Were You? It's like, already did it.
Yeah. We have 2 more. I don't know what they are, but we played that one while you were gone.
No, that's fine.
I was just fucking around.
Where were you?
Where was I? Denver.
It could have gone better, but it could have gone way worse.
Yeah, good.
This is the first time you actually saw Bismarck too. This is like tonight.
Yeah.
So you got to see them.
You got to see the full
Nowhere to go
Bismarck
but-
experience.
Yeah, the full ultimate Bismarcking.
Can't fall off the floor.
It was fun. It was good. It was actually kind of fun. Definitely going to be one of the more memorable shows for sure.
I want to try it again for a while.
No, let's never do that again. We can never do that again. Right, Chris?
Yeah, your wallet.
Is it in focus, Chris? Is the middle finger in focus? You better pick that up, Chris. You don't want to forget it.
the things that I look at and I say, I wish Nate were here to order that so I could see what that looks like. Mini corn dogs, maybe. Spicy breaded green beans, likely. We could have talked him into trying the stick, singular. Breaded cheese, maybe. I think perch dinner is actually intriguing. And definitely the gallon of orange. That's a meal. That's a meal.
Getting Bismarck is, from this trip alone, forgetting your wallet at home and missing the flight, more or less pulling off a two-piece duo version of yourself, but like that's kind of like the triumphant Bismarck. And then it's Chris blowing out your guitar cab the first night he plays it.
Did the amp forget its wallet? Well, it wouldn't be a Bismarck show without massive equipment failure. And we do have records and shirts, and our CDs have download codes, so there's no excuse. Don't give me that tape. Don't give me that tape bullshit. No, we do not have tapes, okay?
Scene beef.
Scene beef. No.
Total scene beef.
Scene beef.
Yeah, big scene beef.
Well, no. So I'm in Dayton. I walked in. They have no record of the reservation here. So they looked up the main office and found that the reservation that I made through you guys for this hotel instead got made somewhere in Virginia, which obviously is thousands of miles away and does me no good.
I do have one question. Would you rather hear a song about Angie or Jamie? Anyone named Angie? For real? Okay, anyone named Jamie? That is a unisex name, by the way. Jamie? Jamie it is.
What a song about Jamie!
Wait, the Jamie has to be legal age. This is not a that song.
A guy was stink-eyeing me all night, and I couldn't figure out what it was. I was wearing a Police Teeth shirt, which is off the table for tour, by the way, because all day I was wearing that shirt. People would give me that sideways look every time I walked by, because I think they only saw police, because it was, quite big on the shirt. He thought for some reason that I was a cop. He also thought this about Dan for some reason.
He said, look at him. Look at that mustache. I look at him standing there. He doesn't fit in here.
I was like, well, I mean, he's right. He thought it was the funniest thing ever. He's like, I thought you were a cop. I thought you were a cop, and I was watching you all night, and then you end up being in the band. And I was like, yep, I know. My entire life I've had to deal with, this face that everybody doesn't trust.
No one noticed. Our set went totally fine, and I was outside talking to some of the locals, and they said, oh, well, you're in for a treat tonight. I was like, what do you mean? It's like, well, the last band, the singer is like a local legend. I was like, boy, I've heard a lot of these local legends before.
I mean, like Chris Jury's a local legend. I mean, just as an example.
I mean, in my recollection, no one has ever referred to Chris as a local legend. And I went inside, and there's this like huge guy. I mean, they told me his name is Big Ed, and this big dude in his 50s, like screaming away like hardcore anthem songs.
Yeah,
Yeah, and they were great. They were like a lot of fun. That was like it. That is as far as like a band. Hey, what does fun sound like? I'd be like, you need to listen to this.
And at the end, I was hugging sweaty hardcore dudes in their 50s. It was a great time was had by all.
I swear to God, I thought the Bismarck was from North Dakota.
We are.
Damn! You know us hill folk. I believe anything. Taking steps, taking names.
What's the scene beef between you and Korean Jeans?
Oh man, it's real serious. I think Beth is seriously considering murdering me. So Korean Jeans were playing, and the place that we played at in South Bend, there's like kind of, the band is set up in front of these windows, and so you can be out on the street like looking through the windows. And so I was out there because I didn't want to be in the room while they were playing. So I was kind of like giving Neil a stare down, and he turned around and he kind of gestured at me with his drumstick, and I had been taping up a message on the door. So I realized I had this tape, so I went in that room where they were playing, and I went up and I started wrapping the tape around his head during their set. It was a really intense moment.
Josh just sort of jumped up behind me and started like wrapping this green painter's tape all around my face.
And you know, I think it sent a message, and yeah, I hope they know that I shouldn't be trifled with.
Hey, they're on our turf, man.
And then I remember Beth always keeps painter's tape in her case for keeping the tuba and the microphone.
He then taped me up while we were playing later.
And I taped his legs around so he'd stop jumping around.
I mean, it did mess me up, like I missed a chord, but then I was like thinking about how like when the Hulk gets real mad and like busts his shirt open. So I kind of did that with my legs and just like busted the tape open. I let my anger kind of just guide me, and I trust it. It's almost like a guardian angel. I call it my guardian anger.
Listen, this whole scene beef thing, I think we've been taking it a little too far. And you know, you were kind enough to invite us here onto your own turf, and we are eternally grateful for that, Josh. And this next song is for you. Start assing up on their own home turf, like, and they want to play those games like we're not above it. He also played that song where he kept saying he wanted to murder us in our sleep.
So I mean, I'll always kind of know in my heart that we won last night.
played it wrong.
Oh, okay, well,
and you ruined the song I was singing on.
As soon as I miss,
I want to get that on record that Nate, I have not been able to replicate any of your bass parts that you had made up for previous songs, so I just made up my own bass parts for most of them.
Nate's gonna be so happy when I tell him, I'm like, I can't play that song right.
Tell Nate that Jerry left his wallet at home and missed
Oh, he
his
knows.
flight.
Oh, he knows.
Oh, I hope he's just. I hope he's. I hope he's bathing in his own tears of joy from that one.
That would be more appropriate. I'll tell you when to start counting. Great. Okay, so wait. 1, 2.
Of 4 shows, we've had 4 separate incidents of Bismarcking. I, in a fit of stupidity, failed to grab my wallet on the way out of the house, which I didn't recognize until we got to the airport. Our motel in Dayton, we had a reservation on the hotel's end. They had decided to make the reservation for someplace in Virginia. I have a recurrence of nerve damage from earlier bouts of shingles that is annoying the shit out of me. So I have to go to a walk-in clinic today and get more antivirals. And on Friday night in Racine, at the very end of our set, was borrowing a cabinet from young Neil, and apparently the speaker quit working.
Thanks, guys. You can get down now.
Well, yesterday I was putting the cowbell on, and I was tightening it down, and it broke right there. This is not our first show with the Bismarck, so I was expecting something to happen, but I was expecting something electronic to happen, and not to me, but to you guys. And now today, I put on my bass drum legs. It uses the same mechanism, and I was tensioning it, and that broke as well. So I got Bismarcked, and I'm not even in the band. I'm just in your guys' cloud of mystery. It's like the Bermuda Triangle for gear, and it's mobile. It's mobile. It follows you on the plane, and you bring it to our lovely little town, and here I am with a broken piece of useless metal. Thank you, Bismarck. I love you.
How many strings have you broken so far on stage?
Just one.
Okay.
But it was on the first song.
Yes, that's a common occurrence. That's just a normal thing.
Yes.
And I want to make sure this goes on record. During the Korean Jeans set, the best heckle of the tour, Fez's "My Korean friend calls you jeans."
I think that's the best. That's one of the best heckles I've ever heard. Actually, it's up there.
me slow songs. Slow songs, you know, love songs for ladies. Them sensitive men. I've been trying to fuck ladies my entire life, sir. It's not worked out so well, but times will change.
So this beef you have with the rutabaga, is this buried? Is this, you guys buried the hatchet?
No. Beef not squashed?
I mean, it's Josh. You know, let's be clear. This is mainly about Josh. Garth is fine.
Garth, yeah, we're totally fine with Garth. Garth has no problem with us.
Like, you know, Garth will have my back if it comes down to it.
Josh is just a dick.
Yeah.
People don't realize this, but Neil's not a very intelligent person.
You've heard his band. That last song they played was like 4 hours long. We could have, you know, been back eating frozen pizza with Ike Turner, and instead we had to watch, you know, dudes hug for 3 hours.
The tour started with 2 people. It's going to end with 1. Just solo Dan Moore.
I have a little song I wrote for you.
Nice.
I call it "This Train Rides on 2 Rails."
Hey Dan, while you got that guitar there, can you teach me how to play Max Bear?
It goes like this.
It's just like the record.
I don't know that I have a definition for Bismarck as much as I just know. I know when I have been Bismarcked, and I know when I haven't been Bismarcked, and that's kind of the way I see it. I don't know if there's necessarily a definition, because the outcome can always be different. Like I said, there can be the triumphant Bismarcking where you guys do the set as a 2-piece, and then Chris comes and you play, and it's beautiful and everyone rejoices, or it's like, my fucking cab doesn't work anymore. Something like that. I don't know. Yeah, I don't have a definition. I just know when it is and know when it isn't.